welcome to another session here where we share with you what is working best for top real estate agents all over the United States and Canada. Many of you know my story. Within 3 years of having my license, I was the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world. Since then, I've been coaching agents. Over 30,000 agents have been through my training. And today we're going to be talking about how to attract high quality buyers and sellers by making offers that they can't resist. Welcome. Make sure you check in. Let us know what marketplace you're in, what city you serve. We do get a lot of referrals here. I also will be inviting you a little later on in the call to my private Facebook group. So if you like what you're seeing here, I can get you behind the curtain inside my private Facebook group. We'll send out a free invitation, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Again, for you, those of you joining us a little bit late, we're talking about how do we attract buyers and sellers with an incredible offer. Let's face it, the real estate market is really, really tough out there. And if you don't have a great offer, doesn't matter how good of an agent you are, you will starve to death. And what am I talking about exactly when I talk about having a great offer? Not like an offer to purchase and sale. What I'm referring to is the words that come out of your mouth, or what you're advertising on social media, or if you're using direct mail. What are you offering buyers and sellers that they're clamoring to get? Now, you've got to get this part right. This was, my secret to success. Like, it doesn't make sense that I would go from brand new in real estate, never selling anything in my life, no marketing experience, to the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world within 36 months. I wasn't the best agent, right? I wasn't the most experienced. I didn't have a track record or anything like that. But what I learned to do was I learned to make great offers, okay? So it can start inexpensively, because a lot of you are asking, well, what's it cost to market yourself? Well, #1, if you market yourself correctly, it doesn't cost you any money because you're getting a huge return on investment. But if you're wasting your money on ineffective advertising, obviously that will drain your bank account and will not help your business at all. So I had to become a student of marketing, and that's what I want to do today. Is I want to share with you some of the things that I learned and I used and what I've been teaching agents all over North America. As many of you know, I have created more millionaire real estate agents than any other coach or trainer or guru out there. Okay, so first of all, you have to kind of forget all the stuff that you've been taught in real estate school and taught by your broker. And probably a lot of the things that you're doing right now can be replaced with something that works better. So if I was to ask the average real estate agent, what is it that you offer buyers? They would say things like, well, I would say to a buyer, I talk about myself. Well, I've been in real estate for 17 years. I've lived in this town my whole life. I work really hard. I have integrity. I'm going to email you, send you daily updates of all the homes that are on MLS, which, by the way, they can all get on their own. It's not a secret. All the buyers know they can get information on the same houses that you would send them on the internet by themselves. All kinds of public portals where they can go and do that. So, it used to be they needed us to find information on the homes, but most of the buyers are reporting that, hey, we find our home by ourselves on the internet, and then we contact an agent. Or we go around you and we go directly to the listing agent. Because that's another thing that we have been taught to say to buyers. Well, if you work with me, I'm a great negotiator. The buyers today are thinking, well, maybe I could negotiate better for myself if I went around you and went directly to the listing agent. So that's the problem. A lot of things that used to work, a lot of the stuff that we've been taught to do or we're in the habit of doing and saying are pretty ineffective. Now, you can be a great real estate agent, and I'm sure you are, right? What I thought when I got into the business is that's what it was all about. That should be enough, right? If I really care about my clients, I'm a great negotiator, I work really hard, I'm honest, that should be enough. However, there's a lot of honest, hardworking, experienced great real estate agents that are starving to death because they're not offering what it is that buyers and sellers want. So I'm going to give you a couple here today. And again, if you haven't checked in, please do that for me. Let me know in the comments right now. Type in the comments below the city that you serve. Okay? And if you're finding this helpful, smash the like button. Make sure you turn on notifications that you follow this page, because I go live with a whole bunch of helpful advice. I'm not here to sell you anything today. Just here to share with you what I did and what I've been teaching agents, what I'm teaching agents right now to have a lot of success. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, imagine if you could make this offer to buyers. Imagine if you could say to the buyer, well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, in addition to sending you daily updates of all the homes on the multiple listing service that match your criteria, in addition to that, I can also get access to off-market, unlisted and distress sales, bank foreclosures, vacant properties. Imagine if you could sweeten the offer. Now, before you judge what I just said, because part of us wants to, I want to learn how to do better, but then part of us wants to kind of shoot it down before we get all the information. So for example, when I say to the buyer, when I say I can get the buyer access to unlisted or off-market homes, many of you might stop in your tracks right there and say, well, we're not allowed to do that. We're not, that would be considered a pocket listing. We're not allowed to hide things from the MLS. Well, that's not what we're doing here. I'll show you what we would do. Let's say that you're my buyer, and I said, would you also like to get access to unlisted and off-market properties? The buyer naturally would say, okay, how does that work? Well, you simply tell us what you're looking for, the neighborhood that you're looking in, and Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what we do is we preempt the MLS. We're targeting home sellers before they've listed their home. These are home sellers that are thinking of selling, and we're letting them know that we have a potential buyer for their home. Would they be interested in getting more information? Now, home sellers kind of like this because it's harder to get your home sold today. And as we know from all the iBuyer companies out there, this is a thing where sellers would like to have an instant cash offer. They would like to circumvent the traditional way of selling real estate. Not all of them, but you're not looking for all the sellers, right? You're looking for a few sellers in that particular neighborhood where your buyer's interested in buying. So here's the thing. We're not actually listing the house. Okay, so sellers respond to our marketing. And I know you've got lots of questions, right? Like, how are we reaching the sellers? How do we know who the sellers are in that area? Believe me, we've answered all those questions. So let's just assume that I know what I'm talking about, and we have a way. Let's say the buyer says, I'd like to buy in Glenway Estates. We have a way of reaching the people that own homes in Glenway Estates. We would purge out anyone that's already listed because we don't want to get in trouble or solicit their listings. But anybody that lives, let's say, in Glenway Estates that's thinking of selling now knows that if they reach out to me, we have a buyer or a potential buyer. This is a real buyer. This isn't like, real estate agents say, oh, we get a buyer for them. No, this is a real buyer. We're going to advertise our buyer and what they're looking for, right? The more we tell about our buyer, the more real it is. My buyer's name is James. His wife is Janet. They have 2 daughters. They're moving here from Cleveland, whatever their story is. So you're going to have sellers respond saying, yeah, if you've got a buyer that's really super motivated to buy in Glenway Estates, and we don't have to list our home and you could do it all quietly and quickly for us, we'd be interested in that. So number one thing so far is you're offering something buyers want, right? Buyers want access to on-market and off-market properties. When you say to a buyer, are you tired of looking at overpriced or picked over properties? The buyer says yes, because the buyer's been on Zillow, the buyer's looking at all these websites, and that's kind of how the buyers feel. They feel like there's nothing really out there for them, that a lot of the homes that they look at are either already sold, if they're good ones, or they're overpriced, something wrong with them, but they feel like the inventory is picked over. So this is what you're going to say to a buyer. You're going to say, in addition to the homes in MLS, I can also get you access to unlisted and off-market properties. They'll ask you how it works. Well, you simply tell us what neighborhood you're looking for. We go in with our proprietary marketing. We target homeowners that are not yet for sale. So before you judge this and say, well, that's considered a pocket listing, we're not allowed to do this. We're not listing the house. It cannot be a pocket listing because we're not even listing the house. Okay, you're going to bring your buyer, much as if you were, you're working with a buyer and you sell them a for sale by owner. If you sell your buyer for sale by owner, you're not listing the FSBO, you're not representing the FSBO, you're not hiding the listing, you're just getting paid from the for sale by owner, but you're representing your buyer. So that's how we're doing this. Now, you're going to have lots of questions. Well, what do I say when the sellers call me saying, hey, I got your marketing. Is this a real buyer? They might be skeptical. Is this some kind of trick to get my listing? Nope, we have a real buyer. Names are James and Janet. They have 2 kids. They're here from Cleveland, whatever your story is. You're going to go look at the property, preview it, make sure it's the right property, make sure that the seller will pay you a commission. Remember, you're not listing it. This is a commission agreement. And make sure they're realistic in price. And if they are, then and only then would you tell your buyer about it. You introduce your buyer and boom, you can charge whatever commission you want. I would go big because this is a service for your buyer and this is a service for your seller. You get to negotiate your fee instead of accepting whatever's being offered to you by the listing agent and the seller, which is usually the case, which pretty soon will not be the case because you know what's going on with the NAR and the Justice Department and the lawsuits and all this stuff that's going on about why is the seller being forced to compensate the agent representing the buyer, right? So we won't even get into that, but you may soon find that if you don't understand how to negotiate your fee with the buyer, you'll be getting zero, okay? So it's really important that you get coached up on how to do this. Now, we can also show you how to get access to distress sales, bank foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. You see, the secret is you have to offer something that the buyers and sellers really, really want. Well, you're saying, well, Proctor, you're a genius, right? I'm not going to offer them what they don't want. But in a way, many agents still are offering kind of what the buyers and sellers don't want, or they don't perceive they need it from you. So it has to be something they really want. And we know buyers want a great deal. We know buyers want selection. And I know that you want listings. So consider this. You might say, well, Craig, how do I get the listings? The easiest way to get listings is you need to get the homeowner or the seller to respond first as a buyer. You follow what I'm saying? There's a shortage of inventory in most marketplaces. And so sellers, and you might have a few seller prospects, who are reluctant to list their home for sale until they can find another property. I mean, you could offer them $20,000, $30,000 more for their home. You could bring them an offer like that and they would turn it down because they would say, well, where am I going to go to? So we have to understand the way that we're going to get the listings is we're going to help these homeowners that are buyers first find a property, and we're not going to rely on the MLS, okay? We're, in a way, going to circumvent MLS. We're going to go around the MLS. You've got the buyer. We're going to teach you how to market your buyer and what they're looking for and match that buyer up directly to the homeowners in the neighborhoods they want to live in, right? You don't need the MLS. You get to create your own fee. The sellers are happy because they don't have to have, open houses and get kicked out of the house every time they've got a showing, drag the kids and the dog and drive around the corner in the pouring rain. And of course, the buyer doesn't show up. They get tired of that. So it's something crazy like 30% of home sellers said they would actually sell their home at a bit of a discount to not have to sell their home the traditional way, to circumvent the traditional selling process. Almost 1 in 3 homeowners admit, yeah, I'd take a little bit less just to get the job done. Okay, so convenience, right? It's just like when we order Uber Eats, we're going to pay way more for it. The restaurant's 5 minutes down the road, but it's a convenience fee that you're charging, and you'll make a good fee from this. So I want to talk about some of the other offers here, and I know you're going to have all kinds of questions on how to do all of this. And by the way, you can book a call with me and my team. If someone can type in the comments below, proctorcall.com. So my name, Proctor Call, no space, proctorcall.com. You'll go to my Acuity Day Timer, and we can talk to you more about your business. And we'd ask you a bunch of questions about where you are, where you want to go, what you've been doing, why you're doing it that way. And we'll give you some suggestions on better approaches. Now, if you're so impressed by our call, you may want to hire me to coach you. But it's not a big sales pitch or anything like that, just like today. Today, I'm giving you a presentation, okay? And now, I haven't had to sit at your kitchen table to give this presentation. This is what I want to teach you to do. You see, once we teach you how to make really good offers, how do you get the offer out to the buyers and sellers? Because we know they're not answering the phone. So how can you be inside their phone on social media? Everybody's on social media, right? But remember, social media, it's a media, that's all. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, it's all a media. It's just a different way to deliver your message. What I find with many real estate agents on social media is they're on the media, the right media, but their message is weak. Their offer is weak. It's just them talking. They're not actually differentiating themselves from any of the other real estate agents. There's no offer being made. There's no reason for buyers and sellers that are watching this to do anything. So we have to understand that we don't want to be wasting our time or money on stuff that's not going to make you money, right? So I want you to write this down. What is your offer? What's your offer right now? What is your big offer to buyers and sellers? Why should they choose to do business with you versus any other real estate agent? Let's move to another example. One of the things that made me really successful when I got into the business is the guaranteed sale program. Now, what is the guaranteed sale program? How does it work? A lot of you are afraid of it because you think, well, I would get stuck buying all these homes, or you believe it's a bait and switch. Just hold back all that anxiety about this until I explain how this works. First of all, here's the problem. Okay, we have a solution to a problem that every move-up buyer has. Okay, so every one that owns a home who wants to buy another house is in what we call the real estate catch-22. So imagine, you got a prospect owns a house, they want to buy another house. Their dilemma is, what do I do first? Do I buy my next house before I sell my existing house? Well, potentially I could get stuck with two homes if my existing house doesn't sell. Okay, well, maybe I should sell my existing home first before I run out and buy a house. Well, if I sell my existing house first, now I could be homeless. If I don't find the right house, I could end up, having to buy a home I don't really like, or being stuck with no house at all. So along comes Craig Proctor in the late 1980s with the guaranteed sale program, which these iBuyer companies have modeled after. And however, the guaranteed sale program is better. The Craig Proctor guaranteed sale program is better than any offer that an iBuyer company would make. And here's why. When I give a seller a guarantee, and by the way, they have to move up and buy one of my listings before I give them the guarantee. And we'll talk about what that's based on and how that works. But when I give them the guarantee, I list their home for 120 days. They have to accept the price. Obviously, we don't go into an agreement with a guarantee without the seller fully accepting the upfront guarantee. Then I market their home for 120 days. During the 120-day marketing period, if I get an offer for my seller that's superior than my guarantee offer, my seller always gets the best offer, whatever they perceive to be the best offer, either an outside offer, higher offer from an outside buyer, or after the 120 days, they can accept my guaranteed price, which they've agreed to upfront in writing 120 days ago. Now, they're not obligated to sell it to me. Believe me, if at the end of the 120 days they didn't want me to buy it, I'd be totally cool with that. Now, I made millions and millions of dollars with the guaranteed sale program. I only ended up having to buy two homes. One house I never looked at, and it was in downtown Toronto where I'd never sold a house before, so I kind of deserve that. Do not do this if you don't know your marketplace. So the key with this is you have to understand pricing. Because let's say someone owned $1 million home and they wanted to move up to a $2 million home. Well, if they're moving up to one of my $2 million listings and they're using the guaranteed sale program, I'm going to charge, say, a 6 or 7% fee. Let's just say 6. Okay, on $2 million, I'm making $120,000. Now, on the $1 million home, I'm not going to buy it for $1 million. I'm going to buy it for 95% of market value. Now, I get to dictate market value. Well, you might think, well, what if the seller doesn't like your opinion of market value? Well, they never do, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do in real estate. The conversation you have with every seller is you tell them a price, they usually want something higher, and you try to work with them to get them realistic. Now, of course, my seller doesn't have to take my guarantee. If they're not going to price it accordingly, then they're not going to get the guarantee. Now, here's the key. The seller wants my guarantee more than I want to give it, so I got a little bit of leverage. Let's say the house is worth $1 million and they want 1.1, or they interviewed a bunch of other agents, told them $1,050,000 or 1.1. I would say to the seller, look, I'm prepared to give you the guarantee based on market value of $1 million. Now, I do charge a 5% convenience fee, okay, because I'm taking risk here. So I would guarantee 95% of $1 million. That's $950,000. Now, I'm not going to pay myself a commission, so if I have to buy the home, I'll take the commission off of that, which is another 5 or 6%. So really, let's say I'm buying $1 million home at $900,000. Now, if the house is really worth $1 million, tell me in the comments what you think is going to happen during the 120 days. It's worth $1 million. I said it was worth $1 million. I agree it's worth $1 million. What's going to happen, if you haven't typed that into the comments, I'll spoil it for you. It's going to sell. Okay, it's going to sell for $1 million or slightly over $1 million, but it will not sell. It will not sell. I won't have to buy the property. But this was the insurance policy that my seller needed to have the confidence and move up to buy one of my properties. Now, let's say worst case, I don't know, the market tumbled, interest rates kept going up. The house is worth $1 million today. In 120 days, do you think it'll be worth at least $900,000? Now, remember, my buyer, okay, had to move up and buy one of my listings. They bought a $2 million home. I've got another $120,000 that I would get on closing. That could be my downstroke. That could be my down payment. So in reality, you don't even actually need any money for the guaranteed sale program. Now, you might say, well, I don't like this program. It's a bait and switch. I can tell you this. It doesn't really matter what we think of the guaranteed sale program, whether you like it or you don't like it. I'm telling you, buyers and sellers love it because it solves a huge problem that they have, which is, should I buy first or I sell first? Why do you think there are all these iBuyer companies? Why do you think tens and tens and tens of thousands of sellers would call an iBuyer company and sell their home for 10 or 15 or 20% under market value just to get the security of, hey, I know how much I'm getting and I know when I'm getting it, and I can avoid all the traditional hassle of selling a house? Okay, so in this case, yeah, the seller's going to put it up for sale, but they're getting the highest offer. We're going to sell their home for market value. In fact, in all the hundreds and hundreds of times I did this over 25 years, I only bought 2. That means all the other homes that I gave the sellers that I gave the guarantee to sold on the open market for more money than my guarantee. I didn't have to step in and buy it. So how did I promote this? Well, I had little sign riders on top of all my for sale signs that said, move up to this home and I'll buy your home for cash. Sometimes I would just promote, your home sold at a price acceptable to you, or I'll buy it. Or your home sold in under 120 days, or I'll buy it for cash. Okay, so there's many different ways headlines that you can use and things that you can test, but this is a game changer. What you'll notice, I was going to say, all the top agents in your marketplace are doing this. That might not be true, but a lot of top agents learn this from me. When I started offering the guaranteed sale program, honestly, it was almost like I was in a different business than the other real estate agents, right? The other agents, yeah, you can list their home and maybe they'll sell it. But if you call Craig Proctor, he'll buy your home. I was known as the guy that will buy your home for cash, although I didn't actually buy any except for 2. but I made millions and millions of dollars doing this. So today, these are a couple of examples of really strong offers that you can make. Look what happened to me. I go from an ordinary real estate agent to a superstar, in a very short time period by just making really, really good offers. Focusing on what is it that the buyers and sellers really want. Your offer has to be big. It has to be something that buyers and sellers want. It has to be something that the other agents aren't offering. So the buyers and sellers, when it comes to unlisted or off-market homes, that's not something they can Google. They can't find that information on the internet. With the guaranteed sale program, that's not something they can do on their own. It's not something the other agents are offering. So what happens is you get people, strangers, people that don't know you, calling you saying, how does that work? How can you get me access to unlisted off-market properties? How does that guaranteed sale program work? What would you buy my home for? I got calls like that every day. So this is exactly how the call would go. Hey, Craig, my name's Joe. I see all over town or off your for sale sign or whatever, this thing where you'll buy my home for cash. How does that work? So it works really well. Well, what would you buy my home for? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Perfect. Let's set up a time. Boom. Mission accomplished. Okay, I'm sitting at the kitchen table. Now, maybe this person's not moving up and buying one of my listings. It'll still help them get their home sold because I'm so motivated to find a buyer for their home. I'm even willing to guarantee buy the purchaser's home to get their house sold so they get cash offers versus offers that are conditional on the sale of another home. So we teach you very, very aggressive marketing. Okay, we don't break any rules. All of this is legal. You just have to have an open mind. But this is a completely different approach. Now, whoever your coach is, and you should have a coach, by the way, you should have someone to help you do the things that you haven't done yet. So whatever level you're at right now, you know how to do that. But if you want to go to the next level, like whatever your goal is, you've got to ask yourself, why am I not at my goal right now? Well, there's things holding you back. So you want a coach that's played the game. You want a coach that's actually successfully done all the things they teach you and has a track record for teaching other agents how to be successful. Well, I've done all that. I've sold over 10,000 homes. I've had 30,000 agents through my trainings. I've created more millionaire real estate agents than any other coach or guru out there. So I've got a couple things here for you. First of all, how many of you would like to be part of my private Facebook group? Okay, I have a private Facebook group. It's called Rich Agent Secrets. And there's about 7,000 or 8,000 members, and they exchange ideas. And of course, if you join this group, it's free of charge. And it does serve you, but it serves me as well. Because if you're interested in Craig Proctor, if you're interested in what I'm doing, having you rub shoulders and speak to and meet with top agents that are using the Craig Proctor system, you can see that serves me because it gives you social proof that this actually works. So if you'd like to get an invitation to my private group, if you could type into the comments below, private group. Okay, just type in private group and we'll get you an invitation for that. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one consultation, okay, if you'd like to have what we call a breakthrough call, we do those on Zoom. We'd simply ask you a bunch of questions about where you are and where you want to go, and we would share with you what the Craig Proctor approach is all about. There's no obligation to do anything. It's not like a big sales pitch or anything like that. But you can see someone's typed that in below is a clickable link. Okay, all you have to do is click that. You'll go to my Acuity Day Timer, pick a day and a time that works. There are limited spots. Okay, but this is all free. Joining the private group is free. What you learned here today was free. Let me know, did you find this incredibly helpful? Smash the like button or maybe the little heart if you enjoyed what we talked today about. But this is what it's like producing at a high level. You've got to have incredibly strong offers. Your USP, okay, your unique selling proposition, again, is the reason people do business with you versus doing business with all the other agents. There's a lot of competition out there, but houses are still being sold. You can still make a lot of money. My millionaire agents are still making millions of dollars a year. So don't give yourself excuses that, well, interest rates are high or there's nothing selling. That's simply not true. You want to get yourself coached up and trained on how you can take the limited resources that you have and you can apply those limited resources in the best way to get strangers calling you. Sure, we'll take all the referrals we can get. Nothing wrong with referrals. But I realized very early in my career, I'm not going to sell a whole ton of real estate if I'm relying just on people I know. If you want to do really well, if you want to sell hundreds of houses, if you've got big goals, you need to learn how to deal with strangers as well. You need to figure out what is my offer, what is my message, and where should I be advertising this message so people get to know me, like me, trust me, and I make big offers so they're calling me. No more chasing people on the phone. If you're door knocking, cold calling, completely unnecessary. If you're wasting your money buying leads on Zillow or whatever, they're not even real leads. That's just scraped information. They don't want to hear from you. That's why they're not picking up the phone. The secret is to get the buyers and sellers calling you saying, how does that work? Can I meet with you? Explain how I can do this. That's the key. So I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Again, let me know your comments on this. You can share this, by the way, with anyone that you know that you think this would benefit. Please share it with your broker owner or other agents you know. Just hit the share button. And make sure you follow this page. Turn on notification, follow this page, and we'll see you next time we go live. Okay, private group, type that into the comments below. We'll get you all set up and book your call with me. proctorcall.com or the link below, whatever link below they put in there. Click on that link and that'll take you to my Acuity Daytimer, and we'll book a time and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much for watching this. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. This is Real Estate Coach Craig Proctor. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's gonna let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.